Let's recite the Sufi invocation. Toward the One, the perfection of love, harmony and beauty, the only being, united with all the illuminated souls who form the embodiment of the Master, the Spirit of guidance. And the Bismillah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We begin in the name of Allah, who is mercy and compassion. What we're going to do next is I want to take us into our meditation practice, the daily meditation. I've added a few elements to it, and I'm going to basically, not very much, but just, deepening it in different ways, expanding its focus. And, so I'll take us through the stages of it gradually. One of the new things that I'm doing with the practices this month is we're going to do the wazifa, Ishq, Ya Barr, Ishq, Ya Barr. The Ya Barr is, rather than just taking it off the top of my head, I'll just say what I said here. Ya Barr is a prayer invoking the quality of God's perfect love, which is unconditional, all-inclusive, and in harmony with inner and outer conditions. Ishq, the Ishq is Allah. There's a thirst in every cell. It is called Ishq, the wine of love, and Ishq is a universal attraction. Every cell is yearning to realize itself as God. Every cell is yearning to realize itself as God. This Ishq, this flow that we experience is the wine of the divine presence. It's the glue of the whole universe. It's the connectivity force of all that is. And it appears as this tremendous love, energy. And the Ya Barr is that harmonious manifestation of God's love that is so unconditionally tranquil and all-inclusive, and it's what gives the ability to see, to have a universal point of view, to see all the messengers of God as the one teacher, bringing out different qualities, all the souls as illuminated souls in different stages of being equally accepted, equally loved, by this Barr, this tremendous love. So we're going to do it as a daily practice. I'm moving the wazifas around in our practice to kind of give us energy in different places where we want to work. And that's the other side of it, which is to begin to become more adept and feeling into how we can draw on these qualities. In this case, we're going to introduce it as the spoken wazifa, and then on the breath, at a certain point in our meditation, we're going to do this when we are really recognizing all the prana, all the energy, all the life force from the infinite life force that is in space that we are connecting our breath with at the beginning of the meditation, becoming relaxed in the breath, refined, rhythmical, reaching into the space and to feel this prana, this magnetism, this energy, and building up our inner container, so that we feel full of life, generous because we're so full of it. We have there's more, always more to give, so it's not a stingy game of I'm worried. So when we're making that transition into recognizing this as Ishq, as love, as that we can go to the root of this. Then we're going to breathe, and we're breathing in the heart, and we're recognizing this energy as a power of love. Then we're going to breathe Ishq, Allah, Ya Barr. We'll breathe in the Ishq, Allah, and we'll breathing in the Ishq, Allah, and out, Ya Barr. Yeah. Because we want to take all this raw wine that is coursing through our system, that comes out in every form, in every twisted aberration of love, and all, and if the wine isn't, as Rumi says, the grape juice has to manifest for a ferment for a while in the jar before it becomes wine. I mean, we're accepting, the Ishq, it runs through everything. It's Jalal, it's Jamal, it's it's connected with the forces of nature, which are not thinking in personal terms. So we're taking, that's where we bring the Barr in there, just to give us this focus of, we wish to be vehicles of this love in this balanced, all-inclusive way of harmony that brings out and sees the divine in its different stages of realization in each and every being, and is participating actively in encouraging this in ourselves and others. So this is our intention in it. So this is going to come up in the meditation in that way. And then we'll move from there on into dedicating ourselves inwardly and connecting with an illuminated soul that is up for us in our awareness, that comes to us in our guidance, that's close to us, that we now bring all of our love and connection to, so that we can be in harmony with them in seeing, feeling, and being a force. And then ending with just simple effacement in the divine being, without putting any words on it. Can come in whatever way it comes at the end, but we'll probably taking maybe longer than we have before here. So I wanted to do a lot of talking at the beginning, so then I won't be explaining anything as we go into this practice. So we'll begin with the wazifa practice of Ishq, Allah, Ya Barr. 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 Ishq Allah Ya Barr, 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 Ishq Allah Ya Barr. Now begin to be aware of your breath and establish a rhythm in your breath. Accept that rhythm, settle into it, refine it, let it become a natural, refined, long breath. And leave space for the pause at the top and the bottom of the breath. Don't hold it, but just leave space for it and feel into that space, into that Kamal point. So we're going to stay with just establishing a rhythm, refinement, feeling the places where the breath turns over for at least 5 minutes. As your breath settles into this nice rhythm, this refined place, begin to be more and more aware of connecting with the all-pervading life in space and drawing that livingness, that power, right into your atmosphere through the breath. Centering in the heart, recognizing this energy as Ishq, as the wine of love, the interconnection of all. Breathing in. Ishq, breathing out, Barr. Now direct this loving vibration toward illuminated soul that you are feeling coming up in your heart, that you're working with in your inner attunement, and experience a oneness with that being, feeling her vision, her heart, her potency and power and embrace. In one, still aware of your own agency here. You become the eyes through which he sees, the ears through which she hears, and so on. Only through love can we make this connection. Grace. from this perspective, we just go into what we see and feel and embrace and understand. That's how we're seeing God. We wish to be one with God. And we feel this oneness with God in the way that we see and love and hold God in our awareness, knowing God says, I am as my lover imagines me to be. So just enter that place of your awareness of your oneness with the God reality and breathe there for a few minutes. And from this place, look at this body, this person that's embodied here with love and acceptance from the divine perspective. Feel that coming present. And then just gradually, as you are prepared to do so, come to awareness of yourself here in the room. So we'll take, it's a good time to take a break. If you're not needing to use the facilities, you can just stay in this nice state of rest, and we'll resume in 10 minutes or so, as we can. I noticed I left one element out of the meditation that I wanted to, that I had added, but once we started doing it, I forgot about doing it. But that's, after we start, here I'll just read what I said here so as to not get confused while it's in the atmosphere. Recognize this energy as a living embodiment of love and consciously embrace it as such. Enhance the awareness of this loving magnetism by beginning to silently intone Ya Barr, Ishq. Bring this phrase into harmony with the rhythm that has been established in your breath. Stay attentive to the breath's regular swing, long, refined, rhythmical, and through the breath begin to seek loving connection with the divine perfections. That's the part I left out. Begin to, at that point, open yourself up to feeling inner connection with the divine perfections, the attributes. These are the qualities that are inherent in our soul and that are in various stages of awakening or sleep. And so this is where we want to really recognize that when we say toward the one, the perfection of love, harmony, and beauty, we want to feel through that love, harmony, and beauty, that place where we are harmonious, into that great space of the soul, so that we can draw forth what we need. To seek loving connection with the divine perfections, begin with those that naturally arise and that you find most beautiful. Then reach out in prayer for those qualities that you most need in your life, and continue in this mode for a while. So I left that out of mentioning it when we were doing it. Then feel your heart connecting and merging with one of the illuminated souls. Breathe, bringing your heart and vision into empathetic oneness with the illuminated soul that you're drawn towards. So if there are things that people would like to bring up, questions that have arisen around these particular, the Kasab and the Shaghal practice, the ones I'm doing are from Zen Flesh, Zen Bones. That way, one says, well, you're exposing all these esoteric teachings. So they're all thousands and thousands of years old, been exposed many times. Yeah?
Didn't mean to interrupt.
No.
I had a question about doing the hearing Shaghal.
Yeah.
And the instructions were to just sort of tune in to all sound and hearing it as just sort of this, I don't know, force field of energy, and then
not to identify particular
right.
elements of it, but let it all become one sound.
And then one closes off the ear passages.
Well, that's a second phase. There's an outer phase of this meditation, and then an inner phase that's presented in Zen Flesh, Zen Bones. And the outer phase is this one where we can dissolve into everything that we're hearing externally as one sound, and to go into the sound that makes, and the sound behind that sound as a meditation of losing one's self-awareness in this great ocean of being, which is expressed by the sound.
And then doing the inner practice, that's the part where I'm just not sure. I mean, there's a closing off of the, like pressing your fingers to your earlobes. And,
yeah.
What happens for me is that there's, I don't know how to describe it, sort of like a pulsing just from the pressure.
Yeah, you don't.
And I can hear behind that a kind of.
You stimulate stuff in the ear canal by
right,
closing
yeah.
it up. So you don't want to apply. It's not about applying pressure.
Mm-hmm.
It's just closing off the access to the sound. You don't. It doesn't. You don't. I mean, it's just.
So it's fairly gentle.
It's gentle, but it's just closing the hole. And then, the most surface sound that comes up. Well, I'm in a good place, so I don't even get it right now. But it does. It comes up as a kind of you're hearing the what's going on inside of the ear, right?
Okay.
But you can go into that in the same way that you were going into the outer sound. You see, and as something not to focus on, but to go through, and behind that is this, sound. I first heard it on an LSD trip, I have to say. The first psychedelic experience I ever had, and I was on the ocean, and the sound of everything that, of all of the ocean and all of the wave, the whole thing, it was just like, you could say, oh, well, there's the lure of the deep, it's like, oh boy, I just want to go and become one with that. It's just like it becomes, and this is, was just a glimpse into this world. An icon says the important thing is not to hear the sound so much as to, the important thing is the effect that sound has on your soul. is to be open to the blessing, that the tremendous mystery and blessing that is in that as a divine presence, as it affects your whole vehicle of knowing and the light of who you are in this embodiment. That's what we want to get into, and I know the mistake a lot of us have made is to press too hard, and then that creates more of this internal noise. Other questions that people have had around these practices? Yeah.
I've been doing the Shaghal practice for years.
Yeah.
I've been doing several of them at a time, and I was wondering if there's a special benefit to doing just one and then having a pause.
You mean to do it and then next breath do the next one and next breath? In other words, the way you've been doing it is you do the Shaghal and then you release and then you do the next Shaghal immediately, right?
Well, just release one finger to breathe.
Yeah.
On one nostril.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and I'm just giving it a little bit different here just because I don't want to rush people into being kind of taken into this space. It's very, and by coming back, settling into the awareness here, it doesn't have to be 5 breaths. It can be 2 or 3 breaths. But I don't want you to just get lost there, you see. I mean, the yogis will do this practice all day long, some of them that adopt this, and they have these staffs that allow them to keep their chest open. They're laying on here, and that they're doing this Shaghal breath, continuously, because they want to stay in that state. And some of the Sufis have even, in the retention, been able to suspend the breath for really long periods of time. This is not unheard of in a lot of different streams of practice, but this is not where we're going with it. Okay, we want to get the benefit of touching this realm in a way that we can feel the blessing of light and the blessing of sound as God.
So coming out of it, doing one and then coming out of it and just being in a normal breath. I'm hearing you say there's a benefit to doing it that way.
There's a benefit, I think, at this stage in our practice in doing it that way. My wish is balance for us, and not just to kind of explode into some psychedelic or other state, this is. But different people have different capacities and are at different stages with some of these practices. So I don't make a lot of rules about things. I'm really not dogmatic at all, because I know that what it takes for different people to grow and to awaken, that's what we should be doing within the context of this. So, but just take a little. There are many different Shaghals, and one of them has this component. As you inhale, and this is one of my favorite ones, which the moment has prompted me to do. When you're doing you're inhaling, you're connecting, and you're intoning Murshid, which stands for the one teacher, or you mean Hazrat Naik, whatever your guide, the one teacher. As you retain the breath, Muhammad, which stands for the light of all manifestation, all messengers, all beingness, as God's perfection, manifest perfection, the personal God, in other words, called Muhammad in this. And then as you release and you return to this plane of awareness here, Allah. So to me, when I got this practice, which comes from Hazrat Inayat Khan, this practice, when I got this practice and began doing it, I got the insight that this place of coming into the Allah at the conclusion of the practice is scuffed over by a lot of people. It's just kind of made a very a quick and unimportant transition, and to get back into the other state. And so that's why I want to accentuate our awareness of returning into this condition, because what you notice is that your powers of witnessing, the shahid, that is the expression of our witnessing of God through the five senses, is stronger. It's really palpably strong, much more aware. And this is a goal of practice, not just to go into the samadhi, so to speak, and stay there, but to bring awareness into everyday life. So that's my intention behind that. And I'm glad for the opportunity to be able to speak about it, because I think don't cut that moment short. You know, you're coming in, everything is Allah. You know, it's all Allah. It's right here, it's present. It's not, you don't have to, you know, go to, you know, beyond Pluto or wherever you go. I like these questions about this, because I think it's useful for people here and who are taking this course at a distance.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
It seems to me that depending on where the eyes physically are focused,
Yes.
it has a huge difference.
Yes, it does.
And it just has to do, my question just has to do with, I don't know that I should be the one regulating that. I mean, I know the one practice there was, you know, the direct
Into the
instructions,
Mhm.
but for just meditation in general, I mean, it makes a huge difference, and I guess that's partially physical and what it's doing to the brain inside, but
the glands, yeah, especially. I mean, Descartes wasn't so far off when he said, well, the soul is in the pineal gland, you know, and everybody made fun of it in graduate school. You read, you know, Descartes, and he said, oh yeah, and the soul is in the pineal gland. Yeah, right, yeah, okay. Well, let's do a little biological analysis here, But yeah, the centers of light here, give us really a lot of access. And in the instructions in the Shaghal, Hazrat Inayat Khan gives an emphasis on turning the glance up. But see, that was one of his favorite practices too, and one that. But that he didn't give to necessarily a lot of people at all. But he had used it himself, and that was moving from focusing the eyes on the tip of the nose to the here to here, and then up until you can just really kind of send them all the way back and maintain that. I've just given you a suggestion of it here in this practice that we're doing, suggesting that when you are preparing for Shaghal, what did I say, to take the time, as you inhale, turn your eye muscles up and bring your attention to your third eye center. Is everybody able to do that? Yeah.
I've been doing it for
But I'm not saying you have to do that all the time at all.
yeah, so, but my question has to do with, I get that you do it for that particular practice, but just in general for daily
Yeah.
practice, do I, you know, is it just a whim, or do I, you know, direct it in some way? Because it is so different if I'm looking down, or if I'm looking down with my eyes open, or if I'm looking at the horizon, or if I'm going, it's
You have to play with it, because your everyday life is full of so many different things. But we learn some of these ways in which we breathe toward the one in the heart in everyday life. But sometimes we want to go do it in the third eye and see the difference, when we are bringing our focus into focused attention or oneness. And if you're being overwhelmed and you're out here coming into the Hara center, so that's where we're practicing working with these different centers. They bring different strengths in the midst of life. So that's the first thing to look at is what quality do I need? What center do I need to activate? Now that I have more sense of how to work with this toolkit, so to speak, of working with the breath and attention in different ways, then I can bring that to my life in an easier way. Yeah.
My deepest spiritual experience has been when, and this happened a long time ago, I actually got this Buddhist realization of centering. I came through here, and I really seated here on the throne. And I felt this real intense illumination. But I haven't done that in years. But the last time I had a really deep experience when I got a mandala, I disappeared in this mandala over my crown. It just disappeared, became a mandala while I was doing Shaghal. But I've also had this really Buddhist experience down here in the Hara.
How did you know it was a Buddhist experience?
Well, every time I'm around the Buddhist, I feel this seat.
Oh, I see.
I feel this seat. If I looked at Dalai Lama or one of his people, I'll feel this seat right there where they're really sitting on the throne.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been on my...
But what's your point? I mean, those are really interesting experiences, but what do you want from
Well, the
this
thing
moment?
is, I'm having trouble falling into Allah, like you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of blow it off and go back up here with
Yeah.
Murshid and Muhammad, and I kind of gets vaporizes down here, and I'm trying to bring that back.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember when I was seated
Yeah.
in that illuminated being position.
I think the secret of bringing, it's, after surrender, it's this sense of active surrender. After this whole surrender of letting go of our attachment to our senses and the outer realm and returning to the source. I mean, this Shaghal is all about letting go out here and just returning to the source within, the unity of all perception, where the senses are one, the inner sound, the inner light, becoming one with that, So it's all, and that comes by turning our attention, not reversing the direction of our attention from outside and letting it go in. And then when you release, you are, you're just coming right into this body, into your, so you want to be really present.
I'm feeling a little more right now as
Yeah.
you say it. I can
Yeah.
feel it.
So I want to do the practice instead of talking about it, but I did want to hear some of what people are getting working with it. And I kind of warns people, don't overdo this. He's very careful, and I've, in terms of like I said, the yogis do it all day. He said, don't do it more than 3 times. I think he didn't know how, we're going to use it in the way that he's suggesting as one way of coming to know our true nature and to feel the effect of it on us. So let's go to the first one that's mentioned here, touching eyeballs as a feather. Let's start there because it's so it's much simpler, and it leaves out the sound element. So I'm just going to read these instructions over. Begin by breathing in a refined and rhythmic manner with only a slight pause at the top of the breath. When you settle into the meditation and are starting to feel the subtle inner light evoked by the feather-like touch of your pointer fingers across your eyelids, you connect that light with your heart through this subtle breath. As you continue the practice, you'll want to take several pauses where you retain the breath for as long as you're comfortable. And remember throughout the practice that your awareness is permeating the whole cosmos. But just, just take this, as it says here, touching the eyeballs as a feather, lightness between them opens into heart and there permeates the cosmos. So it's very simple. You're entering into this, the cosmos is this infinite space and the light of infinite space. And felt through the opening of heart. Any questions about this? If not, we'll go on to the one where we close all 7 holes. So we take a little time at the beginning to, as I said before, moving to the retention of the breath, take the time to bring your breath into a refined and rhythmical state, as always. As you inhale, turn your eye muscles up and bring your attention to the third eye center and naturally release as you exhale. And then after a few minutes of breathing this way, draw a long breath in through the right nostril while closing all the openings in your head. If you have any question about the mechanics of that, let me know. After retaining the breath, as long as it's comfortable, release the fingers over your sense organs very gradually and open your senses naturally into the external world. You can, if you want, you can refrain from opening your eyes, but let your other senses really kind of relax. And then if you feel inclined, you can open your eyes, but you don't have to open them like this, You can open them in that sort of veiled way where you're open. That's what I will do, it's not just kind of looking around so much. Because I'm maintaining a certain state. I just want to come into an equilibrium with my senses here in this plane and to see how my witnessing through the senses has been enhanced by doing the practice. And returning back to the practice, back to the witnessing, such that when you come out of the practice, you're more inclined to be in that witnessing state, to remember it throughout the day. Yeah.
Is that after each breath?
After each Shaghal breath, but not as we're preparing at the outset here. We're just
With each Shaghal breath.
yeah, with each Shaghal breath. Yeah. Okay. So any other questions before we do this?
I haven't done practicing the one with all the senses closed,
Yeah.
so if you could show the mechanics.
Yeah. All right. So again, lightly. You don't press down on the eyeballs. Because that you're stimulating the optic nerve, and so you just you're really closing the eyelids with the pointer finger. your thumbs are closing the ears again, not making a lot of pressure, just closing the openings in the ears with the thumb, okay? These two fingers, you talk with your hands and ears, you go, the nose, the mouth. So you should do it enough so that your hands get comfortable with it, your body gets comfortable just to going into that position, and so that you don't have, you're not trying so hard. You know, this is about letting go. You're closing off the access of your senses. You know, I mean, closing the mouth consciously means, okay, I'm not going to taste anything in the next. You know, I'm letting go of taste. You know, I'm letting go of smell. You know, so it's a letting go. It's not, but it's not a cutting off. You know. Okay, so let's proceed. After you complete, just sit with this witnessing in the senses. Right now I want to just continue with a few more of these lessons. This time I did include in the readings for the month a significant sampling from Mershid Samuel Lewis's commentaries on the Githas on esotericism, where an icon speaks about fikr and so on. We've looked at some of these before, but never Mershid's things. So I'm going to look at that. But first I want to take up just a few words of Azrainite Khan from these teachings in the Githas on Amaliyat, psychology. And this is under the category of what should be practiced in everyday life to develop psychic power. Now, psychic power simply means the power of awareness, to make one's consciousness or mind or powerful in its effect. Here's what he says. Psychic power, in plain words, may be called power of mind. And power of mind, in reality, is power of feeling. Feeling is the spirit of thought, as speech is the spirit of action. Therefore, concentration is the first essential thing for the development of psychic power. Concentration means to become fully present and attentive and focused. So how do we become concentrated? Means to really bring all of our powers of awareness to a oneness of attention. That's concentration. And we've learned that, I won't go into it. Therefore, concentration is the first essential thing for the development of psychic power. Beside that, now this is what I really want to emphasize. Strong feeling, void of all bitterness, worries, and sorrows, fears and anxieties is necessary. Strong feeling, void of all bitterness, worries and sorrows, fears and anxieties is necessary. For what? To have a powerful mind, to really develop psychic power, to really have your thought be potent. As he says, it's in plain words, it's power of mind, and power of mind in reality is power of feeling. Becoming concentrated. And one of the reasons how we can become concentrated is because of feeling. We naturally, what gets our attention most, what we love and find beautiful the most, right? Or what we hate and find painful the most, right? Those are the natural things that are where we draw our full awareness, right?
Present and focused.
Like that driver.
Yeah,
That's when it comes up for me.
when you're driving, yeah. Is that what
The
you-
other driver.
Oh, the other driver, yeah.
That one.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, so?
I'm always curious because we talk about being present,
Mhm.
and somebody can be really focused in the distraction. So,
But if you're focused in the distraction, you're present there.
so that's still
That's being present. I mean, if you can bring your, then if you bring your full attention to it, it's probably not a distraction. It's where your attention wants to go. And very often in meditation, if it comes up, a strong attraction comes up, rather than you have two choices. One is la ilaha, not this, this is empty, and the other is, hey, I'm going to look into this and give my full attention into it and introspect with it, and really in meditation, both of those are quite valid.
that's very helpful.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like saying something to that because it's something that I've really been investigating and working with a lot, and this relationship between the mind and feeling, which has been kind of like a koan or a mystery to me, and
Mhm.
it can be such a problem if the mental life and the feeling life aren't integrated.
Right.
And even with like ADD and stuff and distractibility, it's possible that the attention is being distracted because of a problem with feeling. And so when I read that, I just happened to read it last night, I just thought, God, this is like, it's a simple couple of sentences that I can understand, but it's almost like the whole of life, or how to live or something, I don't know. But so I just find this very interesting and potent and fruitful in its simplicity.
Yeah, I think that's what's so beautiful about it is simple and profound. And the most profound things I've found are mostly fairly simple. Love is not complex, for example. The breath is not complex, breathing in rhythm and in a refined way, and that's not complex either. But I want to come back to this text, and then I'll welcome more input from folks. Psychic power, in plain words, may be called power of mind, and power of mind in reality is power of feeling. Feeling is the spirit of thought. Another way of putting it, and that's a kind of a very poetic way of putting it, feeling is the spirit of thought. But another way of putting it is, instead of calling it mind, one calls it awareness. Now, awareness includes feeling. And in fact, feeling is stronger than the conceptual state of making, of creating thoughts, and it's stronger than our analytical ability to figure things out and compare and contrast. And it's even stronger than our self-identifying aspect of our awareness, that whatever happens, we create a sense of I around it. I'm sad, I'm happy, I'm hungry, I'm, this and that, I'm a ADD, I'm a MD, I'm a GED, I'm a DD, I'm whatever, a PhD, whatever D I am.
I can't concentrate.
Diagnosis of
Anyway, to get back to the text, I love this sentence here. Therefore, concentration is the first essential thing for the development of psychic power. Besides that, strong feeling, void of all bitterness, worries and sorrows, fears and anxieties is necessary. In order to express psychic power, one must have strength of body, regular breathing with rhythm, and good circulation of blood is necessary. I'm going to go on. So really, when we're working in a way in our meditation, because of the Sufi meditation, certainly as given by Murshid Sam, are really always tend ultimately toward the role of offering to humanity, offering to the world something, wanting to use what is generated in one's own awakening for the benefit of all. And in order to do that, and we're in these concentrations, we're identifying with an illuminated soul, we're calling forth the qualities, we're radiating in the field of our being, affecting things in that way, we would like to have this feeling, as a ground, which Khan says about, free of worries and sorrows and just full of that goodwill. Well, coming back to what's gone before, while I've gotten some reports, and I know this is true from my own experience too, of people that have had, are, really getting a lot out of the meditations that we are now optional, basically. And I thought to do one of those tonight because I love it so much. The one of inhaling the Hu and feeling the descent of the dove, of the spirit of guidance, drawing close to humanity, drawing close to us, and then, as breathing out through the heart, the Allah, and inscribing the heart with the name Allah as we do so. How about we take a few, we say, HuAllah, 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 Going into the breath, refining the breath, breathing in through the crown, attracting the sense of the descent of the dove of the soul, drawing the soul close, the spirit of guidance, the breath, inscribing the name Allah in the heart, in light, and exhaling through the heart. We'll do this for a few minutes. Inhaling, Hu, exhaling, Allah. And let's end this in a Jalali manner, kind of hammering down into the solar plexus like so. ElAllahHu. 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 That should help bring you really down into the body. And I left my clock somewhere else. I don't know what time it is, but it's what time, Shaghal?
22 after. No,
Okay.
no, it's 22 after.
All right. Let's close with Khatum. Wait for our musicians. Thank you. Musicians, beautiful. Thank you. So we'll repeat Khatum. O thou, who art the perfection of love, harmony, and beauty, Lord of heaven and earth, open our hearts that we may hear thy voice, which constantly comes from within. Disclose to us thy divine light, which is hidden in our souls, that we may know and understand life better. Most merciful and compassionate God, give us thy great goodness. Teach us thy loving forgiveness. Raise us above the distinctions and differences which divide. Send us the peace of thy divine Spirit, and unite us all in thy perfect being. Amen. So, peace be with you, and don't forget your stuff. And make sure you're really grounded before you get in your car.
Great job.
Yeah.